Previously, we were exploring why meditation often seems so difficult for many people, why it may be difficult to sit still for an extended period of time, why it is that we might feel restless. And if you haven't watched that video, I recommend that you do, because we really go deep into that subject, and there may be something there that could be useful to you. But in this video, I just want to offer a few additional things that we can try that may be helpful to us in maintaining a more consistent practice. So first of all, you want to make sure that you've got a clear and comfortable space in which to practice. So you might set aside a small area in your home just for meditation. And it doesn't have to be an entire room. It can be a corner in your bedroom or living room. But just to keep that space clear and clean and uncluttered. But essentially, this is a space set aside purely for meditation practice. And for some people, it may be as simple as just laying out a mat and a cushion. Others may find it helpful to set up an altar in that space. And again, nothing cluttered, but to just have a few items that inspire you in your practice. You may have, for example, a statue or an image of the Buddha or someone else sitting in a meditative posture, which is inviting you to come and sit down to meditate. Some people may find it useful to have a sort of pre-meditation ritual, which might include lighting a candle and some incense in order to set the mood. But essentially, we want to make this space inviting so that rather than dragging yourself to the practice, you feel drawn to it. That this space draws you to it, inviting you to come and sit and rest for a while. Another thing we may do is find a local meditation group, even if it's just a weekly meeting. To practice with others can often provide support and encouragement to our own personal practice. And a good instructor can offer guidance and clarification if you're having any difficulty. And these days it's fairly easy to find these kinds of groups. And even if there isn't such a group available in your area, you may find an online group where there's at least a weekly guided practice. There are also many pre-recorded guided meditations that you can find online, including right here on this channel. And having someone to guide you through the practice really helps you to maintain your attention, because the mind is in the habit of drifting off into thought and imagination. But listening to a guided meditation, the speaker will consistently guide you to return your attention to the practice. And also it gives the mind something to attend to, because there's someone talking. And often the reason we might feel restless is because the mind simply cannot stand the silence. Now, one thing I would caution is that there's a lot of guided practices available online which are actually visualization exercises, but they will often be listed as guided meditations. And so you want to be sure to find a proper guided meditation and not a visualization exercise. Visualization exercises draw us into our imagination, whereas mindfulness practices draw our attention out from imagination and into the present moment. As I mentioned, you can find several guided meditations right here on this channel, or you can search for guided meditations from specific teachers who specialize in mindfulness. I would recommend, for example, Brach or Adyashanti, both of whom have guided meditations available that are fairly short and simple. Another thing that I would recommend is don't push yourself too hard. Meditation should really be relaxed. So we don't want to put any pressure on ourselves. In the beginning, it may take a bit of discipline to get yourself to just sit down for the practice. But once sitting down, we need to relax into it. And I like to recommend to beginners to ease their way into the practice. While it may be ideal to sit for a long period of time, for many beginners it's often better to sit for only a few minutes, and then to gradually increase the duration as you become more accustomed to the practice. So just starting out, you might sit for 5 minutes or perhaps even less. And once you get accustomed to it over several days or weeks, you can gradually increase that time by a minute or two, maybe up to 10 or 15 minutes. You can also break the practice up throughout the day, sitting for 5 minutes in the morning, maybe another 5 minutes in the middle of the day, and then again in the evening or at night. And we have plenty of time to do this. If you have time to scroll through social media or watch TV or however you might normally waste time, you have time to meditate. But just set some kind of minimum to start with and keep it within a comfortable range. Ultimately, the practice should be comfortable and relaxed, not forced or tense. We shouldn't put too much pressure on ourselves or be hard on ourselves for feeling restless or distracted or for not being consistent. If we miss a day here or there, it's no big deal. Don't beat yourself up. All of this is normal, so just be kind and patient with yourself. And really, it should be a pleasant practice, something that we look forward to doing, something that we want to do, because it really is a deep relaxation. Not just relaxation of the body, but of the mind as well. Just letting everything go and relaxing into the present moment. And one last thing that may be helpful is just to remember why you took an interest in this practice to begin with. What was your initial intention when starting out? Perhaps it was to be more calm and relaxed and clear-headed, to be more at peace with yourself and with the world, or to feel more restful. Whatever it happens to be, this is your motivation, your inspiration. And to remind yourself of this may encourage you to stay committed to the practice. But at the same time, when we sit down to practice, we need to let go of our expectations. We need to not be attached to the outcome of the practice, to not be thinking about what might result from the practice. We need to leave that aside and simply be present with the practice. Because if we're thinking about the outcome, that's in the future, and that takes our attention away from the present moment. So whenever we sit down to practice, we need to let go of any and all concerns for the future, whatever they happen to be, and just to rest our attention here in the moment. So hopefully there is something in all of this that may be helpful to you. And you won't know unless you give it a try. But I will leave you with this last piece of advice. Don't try so hard. Again, meditation is meant to be relaxed. So if you must try, try softly. And then see if you can let go of trying altogether and simply be.